Sochi was in a hurry to plant flowers and paint benches, the final hasty preparations before the American storming of this Black Sea resort. Sochi's residents are eager to make a better impression than their Romanian Black Sea neighbors and show their delight with the results of the summit in Bucharest.
Way to go, Bush. Thanks for not letting Ukraine and Georgia into NATO.
Well, many see it as Bush's loss rather than his achievement. The echoes of the discussions in NATO are expected to be heard at the talks in Sochi. In particular, one issue: U.S. plans to site missile defense bases in Eastern Europe. Bush does have a couple of cards in his favor. First, NATO's support of his plans, and second, the agreement with the Czech Republic to deploy the radar system there, both of which haven't exactly pleased Russia.
Russia and the United States would have a detailed discussion on missile defense. President Bush brought some new ideas about joint US-NATO-Russian cooperation there, and it might be beginning of a very serious, very interesting dialogue, interesting rapprochement in this controversial area.
Moscow hopes either to construct the system jointly or for it to exclude any technical possibility being used against Russia. And this time, the Kremlin wants to have it sealed in a document and not just more Western promises. Sochi is Putin's holiday getaway and now Russia's gateway to Winter Olympics 2014. And Putin couldn't help but boast of it.
And this is your yacht, and you live there when you come to the Olympic Games.
For some Russians, Sochi's victory in the bid is Putin's greatest achievement. Experts say for Bush it's hard to pick a highlight of his legacy, with the war in Iraq and the financial crisis hanging as heavy political luggage. But it's not only about the legacy they will leave, but also who will pick it up.
The important issue certainly is to what extent either side is able to commit the successor for Mr. Putin and President Bush to implement this roadmap, and this is, I think, the biggest question both presidents would face in Sochi.
In Sochi, Bush will get a chance to meet with the Russian president-to-be, and Dmitry Medvedev with a lame duck.
Given the fact that the Bush administration foreign policy is widely criticized, both domestically and abroad, and any new president would try to distance himself or herself from the Bush administration, so there is a considerable uncertainty regarding the future course of the new administration.
Dmitry Medvedev will have to make his way through the skepticism of the potential candidates.
Medvedev, whatever.
Yes.
Yes.
While President Putin can give Medvedev the introductions that he needs, it will be down to Medvedev to foster these relations, both personally and professionally. Whoever takes power in Washington, it's clear both the Russian and US leaders won't be able to afford to ignore each other.
We would face ups and downs in the relations because new US president will certainly contribute to that negatively or positively. But after all, we believe that relations would be rich.
George W. is not the first Bush to visit Sochi. In 2003, his father was here with an informal visit. Back then, he advised Putin not to invite his son.
You might not get rid of them. They might decide to stay here, and it's beautiful by the sea.
Well, Putin didn't listen. Many praise Bush Sr. for his international policy, particularly successful relations with Russia, and say this is one case where like father, like son doesn't quite apply. But maybe Sochi's warm weather and the personal warmth between Putin and Bush Jr. will help to soothe the tensions between the states. Alexandra Kasharnitskaya, Russia Today.